You're sitting at a dinner table, laughing and chatting with strangers, when suddenly, a scream pierces the air. A body lies lifeless on the floor, and the room falls silent. This is not a scene from a movie, but a real-life event that took place at the Argus Leader events in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The Dinner Detective True Crime Murder Mystery Dinner Show was supposed to be an evening of fun and entertainment, but it turned into a deadly nightmare. You arrive at the venue, a sense of excitement and anticipation building up inside you. The dimly lit room is filled with the aroma of freshly cooked food, and the sound of clinking glasses and chatter fills the air. You take your seat at the dinner table, surrounded by strangers, all of whom are eager to solve the mystery. The game begins, and you're given a character to play, a backstory, and a set of clues to uncover. As you start to play along, you realize that the line between reality and fiction is blurred. The actors are so convincing, and the storyline is so engaging, that you find yourself completely immersed in the game. But, little do you know, the night is about to take a drastic turn. As the game progresses, you start to notice that something is off. One of the actors seems to be acting strangely, and you begin to suspect that something is not quite right. Suddenly, a scream pierces the air, and the room falls silent. You turn to see one of the actors lying lifeless on the floor, a look of shock and horror on their face. The room erupts into chaos, and the game comes to an abrupt end. The actors are all in shock, and the audience is left stunned and confused. As you try to process what just happened, you realize that the murder is real, and the game has become all too real. The police arrive, and the investigation begins. You're all asked to stay in the room, as the detectives start to question each of you. You're asked about your whereabouts during the game, and what you saw and heard. As you try to remember every detail, you start to realize that nothing is as it seems. The actors all seem to have alibis, and the audience members are all in shock. But, as the investigation progresses, you start to notice that some of the actors seem to be hiding something. You begin to suspect that one of them might be involved in the murder. But, who? And why? As the investigation continues, a shocking twist emerges. One of the actors is revealed to be an undercover detective, who was working to solve a real-life crime. The murder, it turns out, was not just a random act of violence, but a carefully planned and executed crime. The killer, it seems, was one of the audience members, who had been using the game as a cover for their true intentions. But, just as you think you know what's going on, another twist emerges. The undercover detective is revealed to be working for a secret organization that has been tracking the killer for months. The case just got a whole lot more complicated. As the truth begins to unravel, the room is filled with a sense of shock and horror. The audience members are all in stunned silence, trying to process what just happened. The actors, who had been playing their roles so convincingly, are all revealed to be either suspects or undercover detectives. The game, it turns out, was just a cover for a real-life crime. As you try to make sense of it all, you realize that nothing is as it seems. The line between reality and fiction is blurred, and you're left wondering what really happened. The case is still ongoing, and the killer is still at large. But, one thing is certain, the Dinner Detective True Crime Murder Mystery Dinner Show will never be the same again. It's been months since the incident, and the case is still ongoing. The killer is still at large, and the investigation is still underway. But, as we look back on that fateful night, we're left with more questions than answers. What really happened at the Argus Leader events? Was it a random act of violence, or a carefully planned and executed crime? And what about the secret organization that was involved? What was their role in the whole thing? As we try to make sense of it all, we're left with a haunting question: what really happened at the Dinner Detective True Crime Murder Mystery Dinner Show? The truth, it seems, is still out there, waiting to be uncovered. So, what do you think happened at the Dinner Detective True Crime Murder Mystery Dinner Show? Was it a random act of violence, or a carefully planned and executed crime? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime content. And, if you have any theories, be sure to share them, as we try to unravel the truth behind this haunting case. The investigation is still ongoing, and the killer is still at large, but with your help, we might just be able to crack the case.